22nd, and we are headed over to my friend Domino's to do some more work on the F20. Haven't really made any progress on it. It's been raining pretty much non-stop for about a week. We had one day where we got 5 inches of rain, and then overall I'd be willing to bet we got somewhere between 10 and 12 inches over the last week. So it's been really wet. But I did manage to get the radiator broke down. I didn't really think it was worth making a video because it's just a matter of pulling, 40 bolts out on the top tank and the bottom tank and separating those from the core. And the radiator core is bad. It's got a section that the vertical tubes are broken in. So I'm gonna have to be searching for a radiator core for that. So the plan today is to start tearing apart the second F20. Since the motor is loose on that one, I'm thinking I'll probably take a lot of the internals out of that motor, as long as the bearings are the same and the pistons are the same and the sleeves. It's really going to depend on that, because if it's got oversized sleeve and pistons in it, then I'm going to have to make a decision. It'll either be to buy rings and rod bearings and use them in the original block and sleeves, or pull the sleeves out of the crack block and then install the sleeves, pistons, and rod bearings from the crack block into the good block. So we'll see when we get it apart, see what size bearings are in it. I know the 38 F20, the one that I first broke apart here, that one's got standard size bearings and pistons in it. They actually, I think they're the original rod bearings. It's got a date code of February 11th of 1937 on it, so they've been in there a long time. But we'll do that, and then I also was thinking I should swap the rear wheels, because I have that spare set of 38-inch rubber for the M, and I figured, well, I could put that on the wheels for the F20 if I swap them, and then when the time comes, I could just buy new tires for the M, since I want to go with a little bit bigger tire anyways. Yeah, that's where we're at. So we'll keep driving over there and get to work. Oh, and before I forget, if any of you are interested in that 1947 Farmall B that my friend has, he is selling it. You can contact me. I'll put my YouTube email at the end of the video here, but you can contact me and I can get you in touch with him. But it's got the mower on it. It's a 60-inch mower. He just put new blades on it. It's got a live hydraulic pump on it that he installed, and a new rear tire and rim, and it's got calcium in the rear tires as well. The only thing he's not selling with it is the loader. So if you want a B with live hydraulics and a mower, let me know. Alright guys, let's get this M hooked up to the F20, and I'm going to drain the oil out of it real quick, and then we'll chain everything up and get it into the garage with the other F20. I can guys, well, as you can see, we've got the second F20 in the garage. So I'm probably going to start with you know, pulling the magneto off, oil filter assembly, hood, gas tank, and carburetor, manifold, and then I'll pull the oil pan off. I'll start pulling the pistons out because this motor's loose. I don't know if you guys know that, but it is loose. I did pull the inspection cover off of the clutch housing, and this one is in a lot better shape. It still froze up and rusty. There was some stuff in the bottom of it, but at least it's, you know, in better shape. So hopefully I can at least salvage some of the parts out of this clutch, and the rod bearings, hopefully I can salvage those out of this. Hopefully they're the standard size rod bearings. Hopefully the pistons and everything are standard size, so I can reuse those. But that's where we're at. So I'll go ahead and leave the camera running and put another pair of gloves on here and get to work.
Travel to a mountain, climb out to the top, be a magic genie, with blues in his hip hop. He said, you just waked me from my slumber. You got 3 wishes, you better make them good.
Alright guys, I'm going to stop the camera for a little bit, but essentially I'm just going to get the oil filter, the magneto, probably take this toolbox off, carburetor and manifold, take that off, and then go from there. Alright guys, well, as you can see, we have made some progress here. Everything's coming apart pretty easily, and yeah, I was able to get the clutch throwout bearing and everything to move backwards, but I have to get it to move forwards now, so that's promising. These pistons, I can't tell if they are overbore or not. I won't know till I get them out, but thankfully that shouldn't be too hard, because as you can see, the motor is loose, which is good. So that's promising. The head is in a lot better shape than the other one. I'll know for sure when I take the valves and everything out of it and look at the valve seats. But for right now, I think I'm going to put this head on the other motor. That'll save me some money in shop fees as long as the valve seats are good. So I'll probably just have to lap them, and then, you know, I'll degrease and pressure wash the head, clean up the combustion chambers and that. So this is kind of where we're sitting right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull the pistons out, and from there we'll probably start working on the clutch. I've got all the bolts out, but like I said, I have to get this cross shaft to turn forward so that I can slide the clutch assembly off of the shaft itself. So we'll see what happens here. Let me get set up underneath here, and then we'll work on pulling the pistons out. All right, one moment. All right, guys, as you can see, everything's really clean inside here. There's no surface rust from sitting on anything. So I'm thinking the internals from this block are probably going to go into that other block, like almost everything, as long as the pistons and everything are the same. So let's go ahead and let's see, I'll try and get a good view here. There we are, everything's out of there, and here we are all laid out. So let's see, maybe there's a size stamped on these pistons here. Well, there's nothing in the top. So maybe these are the factory size. Maybe they are. Sorry about that, you're kind of pointed at the ceiling. I was just looking at the tops and then at the insides of the skirts to see if I could see size or anything. And sometimes they stamp it in this area too, but I don't see anything there either. So they look to be in pretty good shape. So that's awesome. I got a box I'm going to put these things in here, and then we'll get started on the clutch and see what's going on with that. All right guys, well, as you can see, we got two F20s and two F20 motors out, in and out, depending on how you look at it. They're in the shop and the motors are out. So let's see, what can I update you with on this one? The clutch and pressure plate were stuck to the flywheel, but I was able to get them separated, and they are here. It's not in the greatest shape, but at least I was able to get it apart. And the throwout bearing and clutch housing cover are here, and everything's freed up and working there. So it's just a matter of disassembling all that, cleaning it, and then checking the bearing to make sure it's still good. I'm probably going to need to replace the grease circ and line for the throwout bearing, but everything else looks pretty good. The shaft looks good. Yeah, just clean everything up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get the M, pull this out. That way I can set both motors on this frame. I'm going to set them in it sideways so that Damian has plenty of workspace. I know he's trying to get the that flatbed really up and going here. I might as well show you that real quick. He did get the body and front clip set on it, but we have to do some work yet with the flatbed itself, and then we have to weld on the body mounts. Got to figure out how we're going to mount the radiator inside here and go from there. And we're thinking that this straight 6 Chevy motor may be a good candidate to put into one of the F20s. So this is a 51 2.5 ton GMC, and I think this may look pretty neat if we can get it to fit in that that F20 that had the crack block in it. So we'll see what we can do with it. I'm not sure what size motor it is, maybe a 200 some cubic inch, 230, 290, 260, somewhere in that range. But that's kind of where we're sitting with this. Anyhow, let me go get the M here, and we'll get this thing fired up and tug that other F20 out of there so we can get those motors set down. Put the let's see, where do I want to put it? I think I'll put it back here, maybe. Somehow, some way. get that one off the out of the garage, and now it's just time to clean up and head home. So go ahead and set those engines on the other F20 frame and we'll get out of here. Alright guys, well, as you can see, I've got a truck bed full of F20 parts. This is going to be my storage shed, I guess, while the F20s are here. We have both F20 motors on one F20. So the plan is, I measured the cylinders, they're the same size. So the plan is to take all the internals out of this one minus the sleeves and then transfer it into this block. Since this block has a crack in it, running this whole length from here to here, I'm going to transfer all of the parts into this block since it has no crack. Now, I did notice that I have a little bit of movement in the crank here. Not much, but a little. So I'm sure that the PB Blaster and Marvel Mystery Oil and everything else I've been soaking on it have penetrated into the main bearings a little bit. But either way, this flywheel needs to come off, and it almost needs to be sandblasted and then resurfaced. So that's where that's going to sit. And since I'm taking the flywheel off of this one, I might as well take it off the other one as well, and then transfer the crank and main bearings into this one, because I think the main bearings in this one are probably pitted. So that's kind of where we're sitting on that. Yeah, made a lot of progress today. So truck bed full of parts, and another empty slot in the garage. So little by little, we're making headway on this project. I'm pleasantly surprised as to both the fact that the second F20 has good parts on the inside, and really good parts actually, and also I'm surprised that they have standard size pistons and rod bearings in there. So that's good. I'm glad. I can't wait to oh, and the head's in hopefully better shape as well. So I can't wait to start cleaning stuff up and putting stuff back together. Hopefully we have a running tractor here without much money and without issue. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed wrenching with me, and stay tuned. Well guys, I know you thought that I was done with this video, but I just got a little curious after I cleaned up, and I noticed there was a little bit of rocking motion in the crank on this F20, or on this motor, I should say. We got two motors, but on this motor. But I want to show you something here. You know what that means? That means both motors are loose, and that's awesome. So I got the 1 and 4 pistons out as well, but all I did is I took a piece of round stock, it was probably 1-inch round stock, and I inserted it into these holes in the flywheel, and then I just started rocking, started rocking back and forth, and little by little I got more and more movement out of it. So here we are. It actually turns very well. So I'm still going to take the flywheel off of both of these, pull the cranks out of them, and clean up the bearings, take a look at them, make sure they're not pitted or anything, and go from there. But they're kind of making some noise, but my guess is that they're making noise because A, they don't have any oil in them, and B, there's probably some rust and crap in there. This one doesn't make near the amount of noise as that one, so that one needs to be cleaned up. So anyways, that's awesome. Both engines are free, and yeah, it's a good day. Take care, guys, and thanks for wrenching with me.